October 19th. I hope I got that date right. I'm not going to do this recording again. But yes, I've seen the announcement. So as we get into custom mysteries in Katak Fatalist, can we do it? I'm going to find out, I guess. Otherwise, we're about to hit the back button real quick. But yeah, I've seen the announcements. Now that that doesn't mess with my schedule too much, as I can probably still take custom mysteries. I guess we're going to find out. But yeah, that makes things interesting because that means I can plan out certain series that I may want to do, and we'll see if I can make it in time. I mean, some of them will be, I'll be working on a time schedule, but if I don't complete it, I don't complete it, and that's all I'll probably say. Otherwise, I could also put out things like, things that people could do, especially in terms of custom content before 1.0 comes out, but let's move on to Shrouded Skies over Shulg's Swamp. There's been pretty thick lately. Recently, the humidity is nothing new, but the atmosphere has been oversaturated with more than just pollen, and we'll see if anything crashes because of me anyway. Anywho, the slugs that have kept the nearby swamp clean haven't been seen in days. As such, the balance of nature has been thrown off. The air is filled with the stench so rancid, it invades Mimi's taste buds. She feels like her senses have been overloaded, draining her determination. As she's curled up in her bed, wrapped in her blankets with a heavy stomach, a phone call seemingly breaks her out of the sickly spell. Yeah, and I don't think this is actually a thing that I was gonna. I don't know why I'm speaking like that. Anyway, Mimi jumps out of bed and answers the phone. Hello, Mr. President. The copium in the air is reaching dangerous levels. We have to find out what happened to the slugs. Maybe at the school we'll figure this out. Click. Dang it. Mimi grabs her things and heads out, but not before preparing a whole bunch, because we still want access to things, and we don't want to get absolutely destroyed by things we're not expecting. Probably gonna set mansion, all things considered. But if you have a few seaside investigations, again, this is what I meant before when I mentioned things like I was thinking for a moment because I wanted to see how if you don't know what's gonna happen in a mystery, it's less. You're more not reacting. I don't want to say reacting, but you play the game a bit differently. Granted, that's not always going to happen, because usually in this genre of game, in World of Horror style, you do have prior knowledge. But let's go through this for lunchtime. On your way to school, Mimi hears something in the distance. Or if it was you hear, but I got tripped up here. OMG, is that a snug? No, slug. Oh, disgusting. Stand up against the bully. Oh, just take it, I guess. 3 perception, 3 knowledge. Is that real? That's real. 9 perception and 10 knowledge. You know what? I'll take it. Also, I did equip the scalpel, so yeah. So, but we're here to have fun, no matter what the thing is, and I'm also looking at balance, of course. But hey, I forgot if enemies, custom enemies, and/or enemies and mysteries, you know what I mean, are affected by the Harbinger scaling. I feel like they are, or maybe they aren't. But in any case. We'll keep moving on. Mimi and Slug make it to the school. Never knew slugs were so important to the ecosystem. I wonder why all the slugs have disappeared. Mimi gives Slug head pats as he starts tearing up. They didn't even say goodbye. Goodbye. Yeah, mystery. Listen, I tried to get into voice acting at some point, and I guess those skills still carry over somewhat. Not the best, but a important research. In the library, Mimi narrows down her research to 2 books. However, she only has time to read 1 before the library closes. Well, the ethical consumption in the modern age. Mimi checks out the book and decides to read it outside. Yes, because I'm using the third person. Anywho, important research too. Mimi reads the book while enjoying the dwindling fresh air. The book is a chapter about a mining operation in a village near the Shiokawa swamp. Apparently, the owners bribed officials to look the other way because it was cheaper than abiding by environmental regulations. Unless, I mean, we could just be doing different country spelling, which could be a thing, but I don't know. Suddenly a puppy runs up to Mimi and Slug. Hey, play with doggo. While playing with the dog, Mimi stumbles upon a dangerous blue gem, and which vibrates in her hand. Without thinking, she puts it in the storage and continues playing with dog. As Mimi and Slug do the research, she learns that something like this has happened before. Back when Shiokawa was industrialized, excessive mining of the village by Kosh, I'm just going to be safe with this, Industries drove away the slugs. But it only lasted 2 weeks before the crew suddenly vanished. as we go into the forest. How many investigations have I done at this point? Probably like 3, right? 4? Anyway, slugging through on the way to the village, Mimi and Slug stumble upon what looks like an old ritual circle. A makeshift fire pit is surrounded by a circle of slugs. Relieved at the sight of these little guys, Slug gets down to their level and starts love bombing them. As Slug plays with the other slugs, Mimi notices raised ground under them. Can't dig by hand, so continue through. For 5 doom. But yeah, if any mod people who make whoever was the responsible for whatever content, event, mystery, character, otherwise, and they see something and want to change, I mean, I'm not particularly pointing anything out. I'm just going through myself. Anyway, deep in the swamp, Mimi and Sherlock finally make it to the village. As she goes door to door and talks to the locals, Mimi eventually learns of a rumor that the mining crew from all those years ago may have been victims of an old god that they disturbed. And keeping in mind, again, since I'm pronouncing things, like using the third person, verbs and grammar is going to be a bit different, although I will still make mistakes from time to time. Dinner time, anyway. While investigating around the village, Mimi and Slug decide to visit a local restaurant for some dinner. Everything on the menu looks delish. Ramen. Mimi slurps down the ramen like it's her last meal. For all she knows, it might be. The ramen forces Mimi to make a pit stop in the restroom. While washing her hands, she finds a rock ring on the sink. It looks like its unique shape beckons her. Does she take it? Yeah, why not? Unless we die. But hey. Hey. Succumb to the allure of the ring and put it in, she puts it in her pocket. That said, I am Mimi, so I have 10 max reason. I don't know why I did that. I could sell it, right? It does sell for funds, yeah. I don't think it would be affected by custom stuff yet, anyway. Mimi and Slug decide to investigate the abandoned mines. However, she finds that it's not abandoned at all. A new mining company has bought up the land. Suddenly, she's approached by some scary men in security jackets. So wonder what they could want as we continue investigating the village and the inn. Permit violations. The security guard approaches Mimi menacingly. Punk shouldn't be here. Get out of here. Get out of here. They look pretty serious. No. Ow. Sorry, kids. We do be living in Sosi. The full weight of their boots is felt as Mimi's face hits the floor, for thankfully only -1 stamina. And let's go into the mansion next. So I have a box cutter. The rock ring I'm probably just going to sell. Actually, I should just sell it now. I don't think you can proc out of funds if there is a custom event. Anyway, the rich. As Mimi enters the mansion, she and Slug are greeted by the owner, yeah, that's right, of the mining operation, swinging by a noose in the middle of the foyer. He is covered in stab wounds and is bled out all over the floor. The two of them manage to not hurl at the sight of this. As they look around, they see 3 possible routes they can take. Right, Hall. Bookcases line the walls. On a whim, Mimi picks out a book and flips through it and gets Shadow Shroud, which we'll see. Thank goodness I police stationed the mansion, by the way. Drag heaven into reality. Mimi stumbles upon an altar in one of the rooms, just as a cult leader, does something to the wrist as a blood offering. Ready to become an old good, as their lifeless body slumps over the altar, a portal of a red and blue yin-yang design forms in the center of the room. Time has come to act. What does Mimi do? Well, I guess just give up, because we don't have anything. 20% doom? What do you mean? Famous last words, the king is in yellow, because... to the swamp. Swamp. Mimi and Slug have no idea how to stop the ritual, as they both drop to their knees in hopelessness. 20% doom is a lot, and Monster and Slug Lord step through the portal. Oh, good things! Mimi and Slug now void of any hope, embrace each other, hoping to hide from the grim reality that faces them both. With their eyes closed, they feel a strong gust of wind, followed by deafening sonic before losing consciousness. The next day, Mimi, Slug, and Guile wake up on the floor of their apartment. Not knowing what else to do, they instinctively turn on the TV and just take 20% doom. I mean, probably avoidable, and if it's not, well, worst ending, see? Which kind of makes sense. Anywho, moving on. And I could just look through the files. I haven't. That's why I don't know for sure. So, take what I might say about balance here and there with a grain of salt. Because I haven't looked through things. Anywho, let's just switch things and surf while doom is at 34%. Malicious machinations of a mass murder. Yeah, I think I did that right. Yeah. Anywho, Mimi hands the elderly Mrs. Redacted the package and, after a cup of tea, bids her farewell. Mimi's about to head back to the bus stop and get back to Shiokawa when a sudden yell stops her in her tracks. I was looking at something really quickly. Guys! Minna! A young man runs towards the others around his age. They found Kenta. He's dead. The whole group quickly runs to the center of the village. Did somebody just get it in broad daylight? Had a sneeze. The murder occurred near the village center. Mimi thinks about taking a look. What's the worst that could happen? What? I'm looking at all those blacked out locations. That means you can't visit sublocations. Anyway, Shinokage kindly refused. From the snippets of conversations between the villagers, Mimi learns that a person wearing a horned mask was seen fleeing the crime scene, and that the name of the victim is Kenta Kurokawa. His family lives in a mansion just a few minutes away from the village across the nearby forest. So Mimi decides to call Miku, just making sure she's not running in her Oni outfit before investigating more of the forest. Lady Akari and her daughter Natsuko welcome Mimi warmly, but they don't seem very disturbed by Kenta's death. You deliver the package to Mrs. Redacted? How nice of you. She's my old friend. Lady Akari grins, her smile white and red. I don't think you can help us in any way, but feel free to stay the night, please. We have a guest room ready. In the mansion. Scary. In dangerous threat level. Guest room. Past midnight, Mimi wakes up sweating. Arms weak. Nope, that's wrong. The door to her bedroom is open, but she can't hear anyone out there. Close the door. Mimi gets up to close the door. She's unable to fall asleep again, restlessly tossing and turning for the rest of the night while losing 2 stamina because insomnia. Next morning, Mimi's treated to a simple breakfast. Natsuko and Lady Akari don't mind her questions, but aren't very forthcoming with answers to them. At least they don't mind her roaming around the place, and Natsuko even offers to take her on a tour around the mansion. Or manor, or mansion. Old dust. And this is my late father's study, Natsuko says, finishing the tour of the mansion. If you want, feel free to peruse the books here. Just don't mind the dust. Mother hasn't cleaned this place since the funeral. Very first thing Mimi notices is a large collection of books, all covered in a thick layer of old dust. Mimi knows what to look for in a very, very easy knowledge check. Very quickly, she finds a book about demon masks, which prescribes banishing the evil spirits by snapping the mask vertically in 2. Huh? A diary? A Nikki? It's full of strange pictograms and old rituals, but there's no author's name anywhere. Occult diary plus 5 experience, which we will use immediately. Unless it's needed for an event, then I just got fooled. Mimi excuses herself from the offer to partake in the lunch and head to the village. Villagers gossip between themselves about the most recent murder, but when an outsider like Mimi starts asking questions, they suddenly go silent. Might take a while. Yeah, when I think about it, when the game gives me or custom mysteries give me items, I should kind of be wary, knowing that they may be required, because I don't know what's going to happen. Anyway, finally, an elderly farmer spills beans and a bunch of mochi everywhere. The family had it all until the death of old Kosuke a few months ago. First, the fire destroyed their prized collection of no masks, then young Kenta's fiancé got killed, and now Mimi decides to head back to Kurokawa's family mansion, and ask Lady Akari a few more questions. Yeah, I should have done something before this recording. Anyway, the red mist. Returning to the mansion, Mimi can't help but notice how eerily silent it is. Making her way to the largest room, she finds it shrouded in darkness. Wait, what's that? It's Natsuko. Someone stabbed her dozens of times. Wait. Mimi hears footsteps. Red is good, blood is good, I need more. Mimi barely dodges the singing, swinging kitchen knife wielded by a relatively small person wearing a demon's mask. I want more red, give it to me. Yeah, that's not how it is, but hey. 4 stamina, what do you mean? Should have equipped the box cutter. I think I can fit this for a little bit. Yeah, I might as well just do... Oof, I'm just gonna do this. Roll the dice. Vampire enemy, by the way. So I was like, can I handcuff? No, apparently not. But hey, 4 stamina isn't the worst thing to lose. Actually, it is quite bad, but hey. When Mimi approaches the masked assailant's body, they suddenly spring back to life, letting out a terrible shriek. They run deeper into the mansion. Don't let them escape! But first aid. And oh, that's right, the ally only I was like, where's my 10 knowledge? Well, of course it's only temporary. That would be, quite weird. Oddly enough, not the most imbalanced thing, but hey. It looks as if the murderer disappeared after Mimi took the bath, but then Mimi notices that the doors leading to Kosuke's memorial chamber are slightly open. The murderer's body lies on the floor, face up. Back down. She approaches it and takes the mask off to see their face. It's Lady Akari! Hello. Mimi screams in surprise when the horned mask suddenly speaks to her, its mouth twisting up in a wicked grin, twisted grin even. Do not be afraid, I'm your friend. I can give you power, great power. The mask's voice turns into a whisper. Put me on your face. No, put me on! No! Mimi almost falls under its influence, but in the last moment she snaps out of it and looks at the mask defiantly. I put me on. Oops, put me on. I command thee, it yells, but Mimi's deaf to its demands. Remembering what she's learned about evil masks, she snaps it in half. It lets out a terrible shriek as warm blood starts pouring from its eye sockets and split mouth. A few moments later, she starts hearing police sirens, slowly getting closer to the mansion. Mimi decides to run away as fast as she can. She's not the gingerbread. Avoiding the villagers and the police, she makes her way to the bus station and returns to Shiokawa proper. Next time an elderly neighbor asks her to deliver a package, she ought to find some sort of excuse to refuse. That's ending A, by the way. Crimson Moon also now lowering accuracy, but hey, where did this snake knife come from? Anywho, let's heal some of the stamina we lost at least, and yeah, we can only heal more stamina. Experience wouldn't be a bad thought, but hey. Languishing log of a leeching loom. Credits to Elf Collaborator as well. Shiokawa has become the center of a minor fashion craze thanks to a talented maybe, seamstress. Meanwhile, strange disappearances plague the town since last week. This includes Yamato-san, Mimi's neighbor. He disappeared yesterday, but because the police is swamped with similar cases, her neighbor is asking her to help find the husband. Yamada-san is known for frequenting several ramen shops downtown after a hard day's work. Maybe he quote-unquote overstayed his welcome at one of them. I don't know why I took that tone, but anyway, let's hide from the dream man and fail and move on. Yamada-san, big wallet Yamada-san with a pencil mustache, he was here yesterday. Strangely, he didn't drink anything and looked as if he was in a hurry. I think he said that he was going on a trip to another city or something like that, with a lot of nuts! He left the town and didn't tell his family anything? Maybe someone at the bus station saw him. Or maybe in this street. Who knows? Anyway, there is an argument. Standing near this young couple, Mimi's startled when they start to argue. She hears something about some seamstress's clothes and spending too much money. Eavesdrop a little? Nope. Low dexterity. Mimi's attempt to eavesdrop is quickly noticed by the couple, who chew her out for it. Why are you so weird, Mimi? At the bus station, Mimi learns that Yamato-san was asking about the seamstress, and he wasn't the only one to do that recently, as several other married men have also asked about her, and have disappeared soon afterwards. Mimi thinks about returning to Yamato-san's wife with this new info. And I still have this box cutter, which I really should equip at some point. Well, or we could do that. Let's rest first. The seamstress, Yamato-san's wife, suddenly becomes very aggressive. I told him I wouldn't buy any more clothes from her. Does he think I'm a liar? Is that his reason to abandon me? After calming her neighbor down, Mimi gets the mysterious seamstress's address. Her shop is located in a nearby village. It's time to catch a bus. Also, just a little grammar thing. Not that it's wrong, I'm just saying, because I live where I live, we added S after apostrophes, even if it ends in S? Question mark? I have to look that up, actually. Now I'm not sure. Mimi hears a faint sobbing sound coming from an ally nearby. It's just something I was interested in, so... there, Mimi approaches a man on his knees, and when she steps closer, he suddenly stops and perks up. She can hear a nauseating sound of tearing skin. Oh, that's just this thing. Also, I can't run, because... Can't run, so, Hiya! You're not the seamstress I was looking for. I guess I should just throw the steak knife. 97%? Come on. Come on. Let's find out. Good. And, let's see. When Mimi mentions the seamstress, the village women are very happy to help her out. Man or woman, big or small, she can weave fashionable clothes for everyone. Go check them out yourself. You won't regret it. With wide, manic smiles, they point Mimi toward the workshop. And if before anything, I should really equip something. Anyway, the shop is full of young and old women. They are all gushing over the quality and design of the clothes displayed on the shelves, while an old lady sits behind the counter with a toothy grin. Mimi steps closer to check the price tags and shudders. There's way too many zeros on those tags. She manages to find a section with much cheaper items. Just look around. And lose to reason for it. Mimi focuses on what's important and looks around the shop. She soon realizes that besides the lovely scent of perfume lingering in the air, there's a strange odor coming from the seamstress herself. I don't know why I'm pronouncing these things that oddly. She smells like ammonia and rotting meat. Who is she? Something's definitely not right about this seamstress and her shop. Mimi wonders if some of the villagers might be willing to gossip about her. I'm missing a lot of reason, by the way, and someone is coming to bask in glory, so, I mean, just take this and we'll see how much Doom we lose. Funny enough, our Doom is actually on track, so even after a horrible 20% Doom increase. Well, anywho, Ugh, she gives me the creeps, one of the younger boys says. I heard that she spent all her life working at the rice paddies, but after her husband died, she suddenly became a super talented seamstress. Would you believe that? And what's worse, my mom can't stop babbling about her every chance she gets. Well, it's time for Mimi to figure it out. With a scalpel in hand, an empty bottle in the other, after amputating this limb, Mimi will investigate the seamstress's house. Mimi learns some more information about the seamstress. She only works at night with an old loom that she found in the ruined manor by the river, in which she had moved to her house right before her husband died and took his face. As the sun sets behind the horizon, Mimi creeps around the workshop. The lights are on and the door is unlocked. Blood-red silks entering quietly through the door. Mimi hears clattering sounds of the old loom at work. She walks down the stairs into the basement and finds the macabre skin granny working on her newest masterpiece, and the seamstress. The loom clunks and clatters while the cloth, quote-unquote, is being drawn from the bathtub. Two bloody pink oofs, slick with blood and bodily fluids, and still connected to the corpse inside. This is the source of the exquisite fabrics popular amongst women of Shiokawa, human flesh spun and weaved into high-quality silk through the eldritch power of a cursed loom? Mimi gasps audibly when she recognizes the face of the corpse in the bathtub. It's Yamato-san! Her neighbors are used to create another set of clothes. She turns to look at the loom again and notices that the seamstress is staring right at her. Before the old lady can even stand up, Mimi runs upstairs and out of the manor. She stops only when she reaches the local police station, telling the cops about what she's just seen. 1 hour later, 24 policemen are busy turning the old house upside down. They find the men who have gone missing in the past few weeks. Next day, Mimi watches the TV report about the macabre loom and the police's investigation, and shivers when she hears that the seamstress has escaped the police. She's out there, and she knows her face. But yeah, I'm just being safe, so if I don't say certain things, I'm just being completely safe. Again, this channel has already gone through some stuff, so don't want to take too many risks where possible, I say, as I play certain games. But anywho, I'm on my 4th mystery, by the way. Yeah, so this should work now, and if it doesn't work, we're about to find out. It might even be the end of the video, but seems like it works. So, romantic romance of a romantic romance. Mimi's been waiting for it today. Lowercase you have a date with the Kyrie Minami, her neighbor who's new in town. For once, maybe she'll have a good day. What can possibly go wrong? Unless I'm Kyrie. Everything, really. Alright, time to go find her, I guess. Well, we're gonna find out, because this, yeah, we'll see. Anyway, before that, let's help someone move out and level up quickly as I proceed to click on the wrong thing. Anatomy class. Knowledge, why not? Yeah, knowledge. Oops, I almost clicked the wrong thing. For a small town, it's pretty hard to navigate, and Mimi's lived here for a while, I think. So that says something. Hold on, is that her? Coming through? Never asked for a perfect bride? Well, there you are, a heavily accented voice exclaims. Mimi spots Kyrie in probably the gothest looking stuff she's ever seen. She's holding a battered old briefcase with many scribbles in foreign languages. Perception failure. Tanaka? Mimi asks as she stares at the foreign symbols. She only vaguely knows from a few American shows. Kyrie shakes her head, and Mimi can see how she laughs a bit. Might be, though my best bet is it says Massachusetts. I don't know how, I don't know, it's hard to know. Mimi also starts laughing. She's heard of a Massachusetts somewhere before, but can't remember when. But hey, I'll take the 5 experience and 2 reason. Kyrie pulls up a map and Mimi begins to search for a place she knows no one else will be in, and find a lake in the woods. So yeah. Well, we're exhausted first, so let's just jog around the block and fail. But hey. Wow, this is just wonderful. Now people are whispering about her. What is people's problem, right? What is people's problem? Now this is why Mimi wanted a remote spot. Between her and Hoshinuma is a tiny village which she's got to investigate. The best bet is to ask for directions and hope. I might say something weird, or I might start moving in a weird direction, but hey, Lapis. To get away from the unwarranted staring, Mimi enters a flea market. So early. She's been there since her mom was a baby. Anyway, someone must have really hated their belongings, because this shop is full of trinkets and shinies. For example, that cat figurine. Well, we'll steal it. Well, fractured ribs for it. What did you think was going to happen? I don't know. The second Mimi touches the thing, it springs to life, shrieks, and bites her before vanishing into the aether, giving her fractured ribs. Guess that's what people get when they steal. Between her and Hoshinuba, again, we're going to hope for directions. Ah, my nose! In real life. The power of Oni-Mi. Mimi arrives at a remote park in the small village by the edge of town. Rows and rows of blossoming sakura follows her line of sight so far. But being unlucky, not even a second later, Mimi starts to choke on a pedal like the complete idiot. Oh god! Kyrie exclaims under the da capo tree as she slams a hand on her back to get the pink death out of her throat. As Mimi recovers, she watches as the girl makes a slashing motion to her throat to the trees, as though she makes a threat to something there. Mimi recalls some rumors that she's delusional. While we lose 1 stamina and 2 reason, go northeast, past the park, and then go west, north, and then southeast. Can't we just stop singing and go east? Not if you want to remain intact. That's not ominous whatsoever. By the way, we're Mimi, and we run into a mask festival, which we're gonna sell funds for. Well, better safe than sorry, so Mimi follows the bizarre directions, no matter how convoluted it is, to not just walk east. The evergreen is stretching so far across, and turning the setting sun into a bronze glow on your face, and it's so pretty. And best of all, nothing has gone wrong since Mimi entered the forest, as we reach a clearing. Or maybe not. Well, we're sitting on a smooth cliff, and watching the waves flow. Wait, what's that noise? Ah, man, Kyrie mutters to herself as something emerges from behind Mimi. Not again! Hey, it's an annoying apparition, which is a ghost enemy. We love this, as Kyrie facepalms in the back. Well, thankfully we get out for 2 reasons, so hey. And the jealous ghost gets severed by a box cutter. And we get salt. I'm just gonna hold on to it just in case weird things happen. Anyway, Kyrie looks mad and we investigate Hoshinuma. Back, you fiend! Get out of here! Kyrie throws a bunch of salt on the specter and subsequently Mimi. Really sorry, they do that, and I can't do anything about it. She looks at Mimi with big puppy eyes, then she explains what just happened. So yeah, I see dead people all the time. Saw them since I was a tot, and I can kind of understand what they're saying. It can be a nuisance, but frankly, they're mostly harmless. I'm just glad it wasn't dangerous. Well, thanks for the lore, Mimi says. So it turns out her date was, in fact, a witch who can speak to ghosts. Cool ghosts. Cool, isn't it? Although it's just a brief fling, it was still a pleasant contrast to the town that's being attacked by an old god. But as the dog disappears and we go back to investigate our last mystery, look at that in the back, by the way. Yeah, let's find out what else we can do. So we do have first aid. I don't know why I healed Reason then, but hey, we'll find out. And I guess we can use this salt. Oh, never mind. What a lie I live in. Wonderful works of a wannabe Ritter. Credits to Elf Collaborator and Soldier First. Once more. Fukuyo-san was always known by Shiokawans as a third-rate writer of low-quality detective mysteries. Thus, it was a surprise when he was suddenly hailed as a literary genius for Detective Conan. His newest series of novels is praised by critics and readers alike, and the books earned him a massive profits. In Shiokawa, however, recent events have turned a dark page as he was accused of plagiarism. 4 inexplicable murders have taken place in the recent weeks. The occupations of 4 victims and the locations of murders all mirror the endings of Fukuyo-san's plagiarized stories. However, the police have found no evidence to support a connection between the murders and the writer himself. Who is the murderer, and what are the motives? I can barely see it. The gruesome murders are so similar to Fukuyo-san's new novels that it seems implausible that he isn't involved in some way. Maybe his old neighbors know something about this? Now that Fukuyo-san has become rich and moved out, Mimi's certain that the folks from his old apartment block will be willing to gossip about the man. Let's go to the streets, hit the streets. Get lost in this labyrinth. Alright, moving on. Several of Fukuyo-san's old neighbors mentioned that he became famous after he returned from his latest forest trip a few months ago. Mimi decides to pay him a visit and interview him. Even if he isn't involved in the murders, she might learn something he didn't tell the police. His new house is a splendid villa by the seaside at the other side of town. Why am I tripping up on the word villa? Anyway, villa. The blue quill, look, it's blue. The writer Fukuyo-san eagerly welcomes whom he perceives to be a great fan of his. I almost bit my tongue. He regales Mimi with the tale about how his writer's block was overcome by a sudden bout of inspiration while hiking in the woods. Yeah, I don't know why I'm going crazy anyway. Mimi, on the other hand, can't take her eyes off this beautiful blue quill at his desk. What about that quill? Well, after failing charisma, either her tone of voice or the question itself sets Fukuyo-san off. A minute later, the man chases her out of his mansion with a metal stick and club. She manages to flee, but not before getting a few bruises in the process, losing 2 stamina. Well, it's obvious Fukio-san is very possessive of that blue quill, but she doesn't recall any bluebirds and lovebirds living around Shiokawa. Mimi wonders where he got it from. Maybe she could find some information at the local school library, close to a person near you, and the schoolyard, while we steal from this bookcase. The local bird glossary has no bluebirds in it, but a footnote mentions a legend of a magical, wish-granting blue-feathered phoenix. The school's occult club, yes, I said that wrong, all to have a book on magical creatures. Mimi hopes that the club's president will be willing to help her. So let's go and get help. Before the stubborn receptionist needs to get out of the way, though, Mimi doesn't learn much about the book from the book about magical creatures and a wonderful place, but to her surprise, she learns that it was written by the local cult shop owner. This might lead her on a wild goose chase, but could she have more information about the mysterious blue phoenix? Petty theft. No, my funds. A wish-granting blue phoenix, she laughs from behind the mask. That's how you say it. Fukio-san bought a book of black magic from me. That's the source of his quill's power. Piping a peck of peppers, when the woman mentions spells and rituals utilizing human souls, a shiver runs down Mimi's spine. She rushes towards Fukio-san's home. He must be stopped with salt. But let's help these fishermen out first, and then move on. When Mimi buzzes the intercom, there's no response. She tries the main gate, and to her surprise, it's unlocked. She cautiously steps inside the villa, and eerie silence filling the empty halls. Where is Fukio-san? Well, there's a cold trail first, so let's do that. When Mimi confronts Fukio-san in his study, he becomes delusional. No! I can't stop now. I have to write more novels, and my greatest work is still unfinished too. I understand why you're doing this, but no, I cannot stop. Not yet. The funny thing is, that was my idea. Mimi had enough. Mimi has had enough of it. And when Fukio-san isn't looking, she grabs the blue quill, breaks it in half, and throws it into the fireplace. Fiery conclusion. The writer suddenly lets out a horrible shriek as his spine audibly snaps and his body falls backwards. Before it even touches the floor, bright flames engulfs him. In the fireplace, the beautiful blue quill shrivels and turns to ash. Mimi watches as the body of the wicked writer slowly does the same, his pain screams quickly ceasing. The smell of the thick smoke is what snaps her out of the mindless staring. Covering her mouth and nose as to not inhale the fumes, Mimi flees the villa as the flames begin to spread. From the back of a crowd of onlookers, Mimi silently watches the firefighters trying to contain the fire. Remembering the shop lady's words and what has happened to Fukio-san, she suddenly realizes whose soul he has used to cast a spell on the quill. His own! With his death and the blue quill destroyed, one thing's for sure, no one else will have to die to boost Fukio-san's fame. As the opposing shadow of the lighthouse gets longer, deeper, I don't know, why did I not read that correctly? Every day. Anywho, let's take this key and we should be okay no matter what. But let's just be sure. I think I didn't fill the bottle, but that's fine too. And let's just go. Second mystery, I didn't check even. I didn't even check either. We do have 8 knowledge, but we should still be fine. And yeah, those are the custom mysteries, and I think that's most of it for now. Obviously, I still have more to do, but for now, I'll probably have like 1 or 2 videos, and then I'll decide on what I really want to do, aside from working on my own custom content, which, for some reason has taken a back burner compared to other things, but we'll see if I can get things done. So, yeah, we'll arrest Takashi-san and move on. But without further ado, this will probably be the end of the video, so I'd like to thank you for watching in advance. If you have anything to say, you know what to do, all that good stuff, but might as well say it outright, just in case you're new to this channel. But, yeah, if you want to support me, subscribing would help out the most. Otherwise, I appreciate people watching. It really helps out, and I'll see you then. So, without further ado, that was Custom Mysteries, and I'll see you in the next episode.